And then we should be able to go. Good morning, everyone. Go here. There we are. Live now. Click on it. It lets us see our full frame. And there we have it.
Got it.
And there's just a little bit of a delay. Good morning, everyone. So Doc Helma and I are here.
Hi.
Dr.
Happy
Pat
Thanksgiving.
So we're going to be doing a foundation training class live here on Facebook as part of our Thanksgiving connection with as many people as possible.
Hello, visitor.
And we just want to say good morning. So we will definitely, you guys don't be afraid. Go to your normal places. Don't be afraid to come up. You won't be in the frame unless you want to say hi to everybody around the world.
Okay.
Good morning, Julian. How are you today? Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay, so in this format today, Doc Helma's going to take the lead. I'm going to be very quiet and just I'll be leading the class up here with Doc Helma.
Excellent.
Aloha.
Good. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you have a great day. I tried to put together a class that is available for everybody through the whole family. So if grandma's sitting on the recliner watching this, she can kind of hang and do this a little bit. I'll throw out little cues and things to help as well. So the first thing with foundation training is we want to establish an anchor. So when we establish an anchor, let's start with our feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to parallel the outside edges of the feet. Pinky toes and heels are going to line up. That's going to give you a slight internal rotation of both legs. Take those toes and bring those toes all the way up in the air and spread them out. Feel those little muscles. I have my turkey socks on today. So spread those toes out and take those 3 points of contact, the joint of the big toe, the joint of the little toe, and the heel, and push those down into the ground. Then take those toes and bring those toes down into the ground and use those muscles in the bottom of the feet to kind of pull up with those arches. So we're actively using those 3 points of contact, pushing down into the ground, and those muscles in our feet to pull up. Transfer that weight back onto the heels just a little bit and unlock your knees. We're gonna go measuring sticks, and measuring sticks are thumbs bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis. We're gonna use this to lift our ribs up off our pelvis, front, back, and sides as we breathe. So when we take a big breath in, that rib cage expands and lifts up and away from that pelvis, and those fingers should kind of slip off that waistband. And when you exhale, suck that belly in, try and keep that length long. So the cues that I use on this are chin up, breathe that chest up, and lengthen along the back of the neck as we work on this breathing. Every breath in, try and get new height. Every breath out, try and keep that height. Couple breaths here, just focus on that breathing, just trying to look for space as you breathe. Imagine your rib cage like a huge cylinder, and we want that cylinder to expand in 360 degrees. So look for space into the front of the chest when you take a breath. Look for space underneath the arms and between the shoulder blades when you take another breath. Look for space into the back of the rib cage as you breathe. Let's pull those shoulders down away from the ears, feeling that stretch in the muscles in the upper trapezius. And just go ahead and kind of wiggle that neck back and forth a little bit. You can go in little circles. Don't pay attention to that loud popping noise that you hear.
Did you just hear my neck pop?
I think everybody has a little popping in it. Just kind of roll that around just a little bit. Go clockwise, counterclockwise, just kind of loosen things up. Bring that head back to neutral. Rotate the head right to the right and left. Keeping those shoulders pulled down away from the ears, just trying to stretch those muscles in the neck a little bit. Bring that head back to center and try and go ear to shoulder. Notice I said ear to shoulder and not shoulder to ear. Let's keep those shoulders pulled down as we just go side to side. Just trying to loosen up those muscles in the neck. Bring that head back to center. Take those shoulders and let's shrug those shoulders all the way up. Feel that stretch. Feel that distance that you just got in those measuring sticks. Keep that distance in those measuring sticks as you pull those shoulders down away from the ears. Couple more breaths, pull those shoulders back up again. And then back down. Just trying to loosen that up. One more time, all the way up with the shoulders, and then all the way back down. We're gonna bring those hands out into long wing. Long wing, elbows unlocked, wrists unlocked, fingers unlocked, kind of like you're holding on to two big coconuts. Be active with those fingertips. Push those 3 points of contact down into the ground. Breathe that chest and rib cage up, and scoop those hands up, sphere of tension, height of the heart. Look at that sphere of tension. When we talk about sphere of tension, we make it as round as we can, all the fingers touching, all the joints bent, fingertips pushing together, and the palms pulling apart. Grandma sitting on the recliner, this is gonna help your knitting. Push those fingertips together, pull those palms apart, works with dexterity of those fingertips. Use that sphere of tension to look for a little more space in that rib cage. As those fingertips push together, it'll allow you to breathe a little more width into the back of the rib cage. A little more width into, or a little more side expansion as well. Pull those shoulders down away from the ears, and let's take that sphere of tension and just float it up to forehead high. Check in with those 3 points of contact, push those 3 points down into the ground, pull up with those arches just a little bit. Feel those muscles on the inside of the thighs work. Look for a little length into the rib cage as you breathe tall. Keep those shoulders down away from the ears. Drop that sphere of tension down, height of the heart. Bring those hands back out into long wing. Let's go pinkies right on the hips. Imagine those hands as headlights. We want those hands pointed straight ahead. Open up those hands as wide as you can. Take that thumb and index finger and spread it out wide. Feel those muscles and feel the skin in the palm of your hand stretch. Use that to breathe a little more space in that rib cage. Feel how you want to pinch those shoulder blades together in this position. Let's see if we can breathe a little more width into the back of that rib cage, looking for space. Keep that space into the back of the rib cage as we come back out into long wing. Pull those shoulders down away from the ears, get that neck nice and long. Chin up, breathe that chest up, lengthen that neck, scoop those hands up into a sphere of tension, height of the heart again. Push those fingertips together, breathe that chest up. Look for space in the upper part of this rib cage. Make a really big platform for this head and neck to sit on. Bring those hands slowly out into long wing. Relax those arms and relax the legs. Shake it out. Good. We're gonna go right foot forward, left foot back into a split stance. Just about walking distance. Feet about shoulder width so you're not walking on a tightrope. Knees are unlocked. Outside edge of both feet are parallel. And we have a 50-50 weight distribution. So kind of rock back and forth and make sure you have equal weight between both legs. Let's go measuring sticks again. We're gonna go thumbs, bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis, elbows out wide, chin up. Breathe that chest up, lengthen along the back of the neck. Give me 5 big breaths right here. Looking for space in that rib cage, feeling that expansion. While we're breathing here, push those 3 points of contact to that right foot down. Push the 2 points of contact to the left foot down. Let's get that heel up in the air just about an inch or 2. And when we're in this position, imagine your legs like a pair of scissors. Just for one breath, take that front leg, pull it back, Take that back leg, pull it forward, and allow that to get you up a little bit taller. And then just kind of let go of that scissor and hold on to that height. Bring those hands out into long wing and scoop those hands up into a sphere of tension, height of the heart. Make sure you're 50-50. Take those 3 points of contact of that right foot and push that down into the ground. Make that right leg very stable. We're going to take that left hip and squeeze that left hip in towards that right leg as we spiral up towards the right just a little bit. Think of a barber pole spiraling up. I want the squeeze in the front part of the hips right here. And if you squeeze hard enough, you should feel a stretch into the back, into the buttock, over the sacroiliac joint area. Keep squeezing that left hip in towards that right leg. Feel that tension develop. Nice big breath, getting as tall as we can. We're still 50-50 with weight distribution in our legs. As that sphere tension comes down and comes back to center, height of the heart, that hip's gonna pull back as you come back to midline. Nice big breath right here. Let's go palms up, right underneath the rib cage where our thumbs were for the measuring sticks. We're gonna take those palms and use those palms to see if we can breathe that rib cage up a little more. This is kind of a little cheat, but now you gotta hold that length that you just got with those muscles in the abdomen. Hips pull back, serve that platter. Palms come out. Let's get those palms flat, fingertips pushing together, forearms trying to squeeze together. If you can get them together, you're a lot better than I am. Squeeze those forearms, squeeze those pinkies. Let's open up those hands as wide as we can and feel those muscles stretch. Make sure those hands are flat. We got a nice platter to serve a turkey on and not a soup bowl. Pull those hips back, reach that platter out in front. Distance between those fingertips and the buttocks. It's a tug of war. Those hips are pulling backwards as those fingers come forward. 2 more breaths right here. Looking for space in that rib cage, looking for distance, pulling those hips back, feeling that hamstring. Push down through that front heel and use your glute and your hamstring to pull those hips underneath and come all the way up tall. Nice big breath out into long wing. Step that leg forward and shake it out. Good job.
You said it was going to be easier.
Well,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Left foot forward, right foot back. Got to give some love to the other side. 3 points of contact, left foot, 2 points, right foot. Walking distance, 50-50. Knees are unlocked. Outside edge of both feet parallel. Give me those 3 points on that left foot, 2 points on that right foot. Get that heel up in the air. Measuring sticks, thumbs bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis, elbows out wide, chin up. Breathe that chest up, lengthen the neck. Bring those hands out into long wing. Pull those shoulders down away from the ears. Activate those lats, those muscles underneath the arms. Keep those muscles active as you pull that sphere of tension all the way up to the height of the heart. Once that's dialed in, push those fingertips together. Breathe those palms apart. Look at that sphere of tension. Make it pretty. Make it big. Keep that chest up. Keep that neck long. Focus your attention on that left foot. 3 points of contact. Push that big toe down. Push that little toe down. Push that heel down. Take that right hip. Squeeze it in towards that left side. Spiral up. Keep squeezing those hips. Feel that tension develop on the front part of the hips. Feel that stretch into the buttock and into the back. Let the rotation come from the hips and not from the spine on this one. As you're breathing, we're trying to breathe up as tall as we can. Hips pull back as that sphere tension comes back to center, all the way up tall. Palms up right underneath those ribs. Make sure that front knee stays unlocked. Pull those hips back. Serve that platter. Palms come out. Open up those hands as wide as you can.
Thanks for that.
It's just what I do. Distance between those fingertips and buttocks. Length into that spine. Big breath in. Let's take those hands and let's go steer attention right here. Nice big breath. Good. Push through that front heel, come all the way up tall. Bring those hands out into long wing. Relax those arms, step that leg forward and shake it out. Got one more each side on that one. Sorry, not sorry. Right foot forward, left foot back. Walking distance, if you want to go a little longer, you can try that, see how it feels. You can play with that distance of the feet. We still want you 50-50 though, weight distribution. Outside edge of both feet parallel, 3 points right foot, 2 points left foot. Get that heel up in the air. Knees are unlocked. Measuring sticks, elbows out wide, chin up. Breathe that chest up as we lengthen the neck. Bring those hands out into long wing. Scoop those hands up. Sear tension. Dial in that sear. Push that right foot down. Squeeze that left hip in towards that right side as we spiral up. You got 5 breaths right here. Looking for space, feeling that tension develop on the anterior part of those hips, feeling that stretch develop into the back and SI, feeling that length all the way up into the spine as we breathe tall. Good, one more. As that sear tension comes down, height of the heart, comes back to center. Bring those hands out, palms up, right underneath the ribs. Use that to get a little more height. Hips pull back, platter comes out. Good. I want you to focus on really pulling those hips back. Imagine my finger on your back belt loop, and I'm just sitting here and I'm pulling it backwards. Good. Look for space into the chest right here and breathe into the back of the rib cage. Looking for a lot of space. As those pinkies push together, as those forearms squeeze together. You're like, stop talking and pull me out of this. Give me that sear attention. Push through that front heel all the way up tall, out into long wing, step that leg forward and shake it out. Only one more. Left foot forward, right foot back. Let's set it up 50-50. Knees unlocked, 3 points left foot, 2 points right foot. Outside edge of both feet parallel. Measuring sticks, let's get tall. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. Look for space in this rib cage. Where's that 360-degree expansion? Can you find it? While we're looking for that 360-degree expansion of the rib cage, let's focus on that left foot. Push those 3 points of contact down. Make that left leg very stable. Make sure that knee is unlocked. This right hip gonna squeeze in towards that left side. So your tension comes out, height of the heart, and spiral up. Big breath, think of that barber pole. Squeeze those hips. One more. Good. As that hip comes back, so your attention comes down, height of the heart. Palms come up right underneath that rib cage. Breathe that chest up, keep that neck long. Pull those hips back, serve that platter. Palms out flat, open up those palms wide, be active. See if you can squeeze those forearms together. while still keeping space in this front part of the chest. Make sure that neck's nice and long. Take that platter, turn it into a sear tension. Pull those hips back, out into long wing, relax those arms, and shake it out. Good job. We're gonna go wide stance next. Feet about 2 to 3 times shoulder width. Outside edges of the feet parallel on this one to start. Points of contact, joint of the big toe, joint of the little toe and heel. Knees are unlocked. And let's transfer that weight back onto the heels just a little bit. Measuring sticks, thumbs bottom of the ribcage, pinkies down by the pelvis, elbows out wide, chin up. Breathe that chest up, lengthen the neck. Couple breaths looking for space in that ribcage again. Nice and easy, focus on those 3 points of contact pushing down into the ground. Let's start with a little internal anchor. Start squeezing those legs in towards one another, like you're trying to crunch the mat between your legs. Don't let those knees collapse in. Keep those 3 points of contact down, and we're just activating those muscles on the inside of the thighs, those adductors. Hold on to that tension. Bring those hands out into long wing, and scoop those hands up into a sear tension, height of the heart. Pull those hips back a couple inches. Make sure those knees are unlocked. This is a nice wide leg founder. I want you to stay here for about 5 to 8 breaths, looking for space. Just play around a little bit, wiggle the knees, wiggle the hips a little bit. What happens if you push those fingertips together a little? What happens if you breathe that chest up a little wider? What happens if you look for a little space into the back of the rib cage? What happens if you try and pull those hips back a little bit more? Just always trying to look for space wherever we are. Two more breaths right here. Feel that tension develop. Feel those muscles fatigue. Break that sear tension as you push through those heels and use those hamstrings to pull you up and out, all the way up tall. Trying to get you to use your hamstrings instead of your lower back muscles to come out of a hinge. The hamstrings are much more efficient and much stronger than those little muscles alongside of your spine. So let's make them work a little bit. Scoop those hands up, pull those hips back. 5 breaths right here. Let's look for space between the buttocks and the fingertips. Make sure those knees stay unlocked. The weight should be back on the heels. Those toes should feel like they want to come up off the mat just a little bit. And make sure those knees stay unlocked. I still want the toes down on the mat. Good. Push through those heels all the way up tall. Wiggle those hips around a little bit. You got one more coming. Big breath in. Scoop those hands up. Pull those hips back. Keep that internal anchor. Legs squeezing in towards one another. Feel those muscles on the inside of the thighs. Think of a sling from your arches of the feet going all the way up into the pelvis, pulling all the way up. See if you can activate and use those muscles pulling up. Just for fun, let's switch over to an outward anchor. Take those legs and start pushing them away from one another. Feel those strong, powerful muscles in the glutes, in the outer hips, the iliotibial bands. This is a strength move as that external anchor comes in. Now let's work with that internal anchor. Squeeze those legs in towards one another. Feel those muscles on the inside of the thighs. Feel the difference with that muscle tension. Switch over to that outward anchor again and feel that tension develop. Keep pulling those hips back. One of them is going to feel a lot more comfortable than the other. Everybody is different on this one. Squeeze those legs in, internal anchor, push through those heels as you pull those hips all the way up and underneath. Relax those arms and relax those legs. Nicely done. Good. We're gonna go right foot forward, left foot back again. Let's go a little longer stance on this one. So a little longer than walking distance. Outside edge of both feet parallel. And make sure they're definitely shoulder width apart. 50-50 weight distribution, knees unlocked. 3 points right foot, 2 points left foot, heels up. Measuring sticks. Let's breathe for a little bit and look for space into that rib cage. While we're here, little scissor just to get up tall, and then let that scissor go. Just always trying to look for space. Bring those hands out into long wing, and scoop those hands up into a sphere of tension, height of the heart. We're gonna take those hands and parallel those hands. Left thumb goes on top of that right palm. First movement on this is called an archer. Think of pulling back a bow. The first movement is pulling the hip back. So Erin's gonna pull her left hip back as her arm traces all the way across. Distance between those elbows and fingertips. I picked this exercise to do because Erin does this really well and it looks good. Hip pulls forward, arm traces. And see, now the pressure's on.
That's because I'm 6 feet tall and I want to be 6'1". Never giving up.
Thumb into the palm again. Hip pulls back. Arm follows, up nice and tall. Little bit of external rotation on that back leg. You can see how her foot turns out about 5 to 10 degrees, but watch what happens when she pulls that hip back in. That foot rotates back into that neutral position. Got one more. Pull that bow, left thumb, pull it back. Big trace. Look for space in that chest. Look for space in that back of the rib cage. Hip pulls forward. Let that hip dictate the movement as you come back forward. Relax those arms, step that leg forward, and shake it out.
For those of you who are runners and ultra runners, we've actually seen people increase their height from doing the decompression breathing and these kinds of focus through the nervous system and spine. So if you're a runner, gravity is real.
Yeah, I have people come into my office and they're like, I used to be 5'10".
Yep.
And our bodies don't really shrink.
Yep. The question is, what are you going to do about it? It's
Our
foundation
postures-
training.
Our
Doc
postures
Helma.
change.
Yep.
So play with this. Here we go, left foot forward, right foot back. Little longer stance. 3 points left foot, 2 points right foot, outside edge of both feet parallel. 50-50 weight distribution. Little scissor on that leg to get up tall. Make sure those knees are still unlocked. Measuring sticks for a breath. Bringing those hands out into long wing. Scooping them up into a sphere of tension, height of the heart. Parallel those hands. Right thumb goes on that left palm. Hip-driven movement. Right hip's gonna pull back as that arm traces. Nice big breath, elbow pulls back, fingertips reach forward. We're looking for space in that rib cage. We're opening up those hips. Hip pulls forward, arm follows. Foot rotates in. Got 2 more. Big breath in, stay tall on this one. Hip pulls back, arm follows, draw that bow. Hip pulls forward, arm follows. Last one, up nice and tall, hip pulls back, arm follows. Big breath, hip pulls forward, and arm follows. Relax those arms, relax those legs. Shake it out. Good job. We're gonna go wide stance again. Feet about 2 to 3 times shoulder width, but this time we're gonna parallel the inside edges of the feet. That's gonna give you a little bit of external rotation. Now, if this hurts the hips, you can go a little bit more external rotation on the hips. Everybody's a little different when it comes to hip sockets. Some people have deeper hip sockets and they need a little more external rotation, so we'll play with this a little bit. So start with the inside edges of the feet parallel. Let's go measuring sticks, thumbs bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis, elbows out wide. Always looking for space in that rib cage. Breathe that chin up, chest up, lengthen the neck. Good, we're gonna work on a squat. And in foundation training, we do a squat a little bit differently than a regular squat. It's a posterior driven squat. The first movement is the hips pulled back. So I'll coach you through this and just work on the analogy. You're gonna be dictated as far as how far you can go on this by the tightness of your hamstrings. So if you look at other people in the room that are doing this, don't try and match them. The goal with foundation training is always trying to develop tension. So when you develop tension, that's your sweet spot, and that's right where we want you. That may be short, it may be long, it's gonna be different, and it's gonna change as we continue to work through this. Hopefully, it's gonna change. So, inside edge of the feet parallel, let's go with measuring sticks, couple breaths. Looking for space into that rib cage. We're gonna bring those hands up into short wing, because that's gonna help a little bit. The first movement on this is to pull the hips back. And then imagine your butt going into an elevator. Once it goes into the elevator, it drops down a floor, and then it comes back up, and then it comes out of the elevator. Butt goes into the elevator, drops down a floor, comes up, and out of the elevator. Much different than a regular squat. We're working that posterior chain, hips pull back, drop down a floor, back up, and get out of that elevator. 2 more, please. Hips pull back, drop down, up, and get out. Last one, hips pull back, go down a floor, back up, and out. Nice. Relax those arms, relax those legs, shake it out. Good job. We're gonna go next to our knees. We're gonna go down on our knees and we're gonna do a kneeling founder. We did a wide leg founder standing. This is a little bit different, and honestly, if you ask me, this is harder than the standing founder. So knees about shoulder width apart, little squeeze with those knees in towards one another, like you're holding on to a little turkey, or a little dog, or a little cat, or whatever your pet of choice. You wanna hold on to them, but not let them run away. Make sure those feet are a little bit outside of those knees. That's gonna give you that internal rotation of both legs. Measuring sticks, thumbs bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis. Bring those elbows out, lift that chin up. Breathe the chest up as we lengthen that neck. Pull those shoulders away from the ears and look for space in that rib cage. Think of that cylinder. Think of that 360-degree expansion. Can you feel it grow in all directions? Good. Take those hands, bring those hands up into a sphere tension, height of the heart. Feel how that just changed your tension in your lower back already. The muscles are already working as that sphere tension comes out. Let's pull those hips back just a little bit and feel that tension develop a little bit more. As those hips pull back, you'll feel the tension develop in the lower back, then into the buttocks, and then into the hamstrings. As those toes start to lighten the load off the mat, that's what we're looking for. And I want you to try and hold on to that tension. It's a very eccentric contraction of those hamstring muscles, trying to hang on to this tension as those toes are lightly trying to pull up off that ground. Trying to look for a little space in that rib cage, trying to hold on to that little puppy. Break that sphere tension, pull those hips all the way underneath. Wiggle those hips around just a little bit because you got 2 more. Little squeeze with those knees in towards one another. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. Scoop those hands up. So your attention, height of the heart. Pull those hips back. Play with that tipping point. Keep that chest up. Keep that spine long. We're looking for tension in the glutes and the hamstrings and not so much tension in the lower back. Good. Push through those knees, pull those hips underneath, out into long wing. Wiggle those hips a little bit, get tall again. Keep that chest up, keep that neck long, scoop those hands up, pull those hips back. 5 more breaths with that tipping point. Hold on to that tension. Stay tall. Pray the hamstrings don't cramp up. Push through those knees, hips all the way underneath. Relax those arms and relax those legs. Shake it out. Lay on your back, please. Face up. Laura, your favorite?
So as we get to this point in the session, just start to contemplate what's really fatiguing. Is it muscular fatigue? Is it nervous system fatigue?
Yes.
What do you think,
It's
Doc?
all of it.
What's the fatigue?
Yeah, it's all of it. We're working everything with this one. We're working muscles. The ones that bark first and the loudest are the ones that are going to fatigue the first and the loudest, and those are your kind of weak points. The cool thing with foundation training is it focuses on trying to balance everything. That's why it's not a replacement for any exercise. It's more of a complement for exercises. So work with this and try and play with the tensions and understand that we're just trying to get everybody to play in the playground together and not fight. And when we have injuries, that's because our bodies are fighting. And we don't like that, especially not on Thanksgiving.
So if I can just say one more thing. So if when I'm doing my kneeling founder, my low back or right around my SI joint starts to talk to me, it's not screaming, but it's starting to talk. That's what you're talking about. Maybe that's a weak spot.
That is your weak spot.
And that's
correct.
an opportunity to
Right.
get stronger. If
Correct.
I just breathe into it and not run away from it
Mhm.
and gently try and bring it online.
Try and embrace that tension and work with it and understand it. Understand why your body has tension in that area.
Okay.
And understand what you're doing.
Thank you. Perfect.
So here we go. Supine decompression. Let's start all the way out. Walk those feet out, walk those heels away from your body, get those legs stretched, walk those shoulders away from your body, and roll those shoulders side to side. Take up as much real estate on that mat as you can. Let's go big toe touching. Heels spread apart just a couple inches. Take those feet and pull those feet up towards the shins. So we're dorsiflexing our ankles. Knees are bent just enough to squeeze those thighs together. Everybody's going to be different on that knee bend as well. We want to feel that wrapping. Actually, reach back and grab yourself some thigh meat. Since it's Thanksgiving. Take that thigh meat and pull it out so you get a little more internal rotation of both thighs. And then hold on to that internal rotation with those adductor muscles. Let's go measuring sticks here. Thumbs bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis. Lift those elbows up off the mat. Lift that head up and lengthen the neck, and then lightly place that head back on the mat. And give me 5 breaths right here. Remember, we talked about that 360-degree expansion in that rib cage. It's a lot different when you're laying down on your back. Look for that expansion. Give me a couple breaths into the front part of the rib cage. Give me a couple breaths into the underarms, into the sides of the rib cage. See if you can get a little width. And then give me a couple breaths trying to breathe those shoulder blades out wide, and then breathe those shoulder blades down into the mat. With your measuring stick still here, Your next breath will focus on those lower ribs right below the shoulder blades. And let's breathe those down into the mat and feel how those abdominal muscles just tightened up a little bit. I want you to hold on to that with those lower ribs, but I don't want you to flatten your lower back on the mat. I still want you to keep that little curve to the lower back. Keep those thighs squeezing together. If you're new to this, that thigh squeeze should be really irritating by now. Let's take those hands and bring that sphere of tension up towards the ceiling. Look at that sphere of tension. Imagine those fingers are your ribs. And as you breathe, those ribs get as big as you can. Use that sphere of tension to see if you can breathe a little more width between those shoulder blades. And breathe big into the back. Breathe those lower ribs down. With those thighs squeezing together, with those feet pulled up towards the shins, that neck is nice and long. Let's take that sphere of tension up to forehead high. Once that sphere of tension gets up to forehead high, breathe those fingers together. Make that sphere of tension big and get as long as you can. Squeeze those thighs together. Push those fingers away from the top of your head. Suck that belly in. Keep that rib cage big and onto the mat. Use those lats to pull that sphere of tension back up to the ceiling. Good. Relax those arms. Let's go half spheres of tension on the ground by the hips. Fingertips are pushing down. Use those fingers to get a little more width into that rib cage. And let's take those hands and turn those hands palms up. Open up those hands as wide as you can and see if you can push all those fingernails down to the ground. The thumb usually doesn't want to play with all the other ones. Or if the thumb gets down, the pinky doesn't want to go down. But try and get them all down. Open up that hand nice and wide. Take that back of the hand, push it down into the ground. Look for space in that rib cage as those hands push down. Keep those thighs wrapping in. Keep those feet pulled up towards the shins. Let's add a little heel pull towards the buttocks. Equal tension, squeezing those thighs, pulling the heels. Just hold on to that tension. On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe about a 3. Nothing really hard, just holding on to that tension. Flip those hands over, half spheres of tension down on the ground. Push those fingers down into the ground. Keep those thighs squeezing in. Keep those heels pulling towards the buttocks. Scoop those hands up into a sphere of tension, height of the heart. With those thighs scrolling in, with those heels pulling, take that sphere of tension back up to forehead high. This one should be a little bit easier than the last one. We added the hamstring muscles to help you take that sphere of tension back up. And it should provide a little bit more stability in that area. Slowly take that sphere of tension and bring it back up to the ceiling. One more, thighs wrapping in, heels pulling towards the buttocks, fingertips squeezing together, rib cage nice and wide. Let's take that sphere of tension back up to forehead high. Squeeze those thighs, pull those heels, pull those toes up, push those fingertips together. Breathe that sphere of tension away from your body and pull it back up to the ceiling. Relax those arms and finally relax those legs. Don't hate me for those legs. Shake it out. Wiggle them around. Wiggle the toes a little bit. Wiggle those ankles a little bit. Wiggle the hips. And then walk those heels away from your body again. Just get those legs as long as you can and relax them. Wiggle those shoulders. Walk it away from your hips. Roll those shoulders side to side. And then just relax those arms. Lift that head up off the mat. Make sure that neck's nice and long. And lay that head down onto the mat lightly. and just relax it. Couple breaths, oh, more than a couple, in and out through your nose if possible. Feeling that rib cage grow in 360 degrees with a breath in. And focus on just relaxing on the exhale. This is not decompression breathing. This is just a big breath trying to get as much air inside those lungs as you can. When you think you have enough air, take another gulp, and then maybe another gulp. And feel those muscles all along the chest and the shoulders and the back of the rib cage and in between the ribs. And feel how much muscles of respiration and how much control that you have over your breathing. And as you exhale, let's take a little longer on the exhale and let the air go nice and slow, nice and easy. Maybe about 5 seconds for an inhale. And about 10 seconds on the exhale. Got to go slow to get that 10 seconds. And that last second, you're going to be pushing a lot of air out. Nice big breath in. And then let's focus on relaxing on the exhales. Relax those toes. Relax those feet. Nice big breath in. Slow exhale. Relax the legs. Relax the pelvis. Relax the abdomen. Another big breath in, feeling that rib cage grow and expand in all directions. And on the exhale, relax those shoulders. Relax those arms and the hands. Your next big breath in, and then another slow exhale. Relax that neck. Relax the muscles in your face. If you find a muscle that's tight, go ahead and relax that too. One more nice relaxing inhale, a nice slow exhale. Give me a big smile. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Dr. Bennett.
Thank you very much. If you want more information on this, ECFIT Strength on this YouTube channel, foundationtraining.com, there's a lot of resources. So search it out. It'll help you. You guys want to come say hi? Come here. Come around. Say hi to everybody.
Thanks for coming. Hey, Jason, come here.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Doc Helma.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is, you guys, if you don't know Jason Pohl, fellow Canadian, there's a lot of Canadians watching. So Jason has kind of found foundation training. He's Kona qualified. That's big time in the triathlon world. So congratulations to you and your
thank
coaches for that. But you have found some good comfort working with Doc Helma, using foundation to help you. What are some of the 2 or 3 of the key things that have really helped?
I think just it's definitely helped with my recovery. So just like re-lengthening the body, just loosening up that fascia. I mean, all the miles, us athletes put on is just, there's so much pounding. So you gotta really open that up again. And foundation's just been so great. So it's been a commitment of mine this off season so far. So
Good. Well, we wish him the very, very best. Does anyone else want to come in? Julian, come here and just give us a little testimonial.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
yeah, thank you.
I want to say you're a great model.
Oh, thank you. I'm a good model.
And
Okay.
he's a great teacher,
But-
and I'm not a young fella.
Yeah. How's foundation training helped you in your life?
Feels like I stand up taller, I feel stronger, my muscles seem to relax, and I just feel good.
Nice. Well, Doc Helma is a great leader, and we're
He
very
is.
lucky here at Rally Sport to have his leadership, but also available online. Through this horrible pandemic, we have found some really bright lights and the opportunity to expand our reach and expand our ability to help people. So thank you to Doc Goodman and his team for being such a great teacher. And thanks to Doc Helma for being a great teacher. And happy Thanksgiving here in the United States. And if you don't understand what that is, just hug somebody and say thank you. And you'll pretty much be in the right place. Aloha.
Feel free to leave comments, or if you have any questions, feel free to leave them on the YouTube and we'll get to them.
Hit subscribe, hit like, hit the little bell so that you get notified. Peace out. Happy Thanksgiving.
See ya.